Welcome! I got something special for you today. We took in trade this awesome 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, which features a similar engine to what you find in the Charger and Challenger Hellcat, a supercharged 6.2 liter V8, pumping out 707 horsepower and I think about 660 pound-feet of torque. Enough to rocket this thing to 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, quarter mile around 12 seconds to a top speed of about 180 miles per hour. Pretty insane performance for a Jeep Grand Cherokee. We actually just sold a SRT Grand Cherokee last month, which has the naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi. It's like 470 horsepower, but this is 707 horsepower with the addition of a supercharger. This thing is absolutely insane as far as performance goes. It's loud, it's brutal, but it's also very comfortable. It's a great luxury SUV. Nice, comfortable interior. You have a high up commanding view of the road, all-wheel drive traction, space for the kids, space for cargo. So I guess it's a very practical, high-performance automobile. A lot more practical than the two-door Challenger, and I'd say even more practical than the Charger, which is just rear-wheel drive. With all-wheel drive, this is much better for our wet, slippery climate, and I think this is probably faster than a rear-wheel drive Hellcat, Charger, or Challenger in the wet with all-wheel drive. And our roads are wet pretty often, so for the most part, you'll get better performance than the Hellcat, Charger, and Challenger with all-wheel drive, because you can't get all-wheel drive in those. We have a copy of the original build sheet. You might notice if you're looking at the Carfax that this was a Canadian import. There's a lot of Canadian import vehicles sold in Washington since we are on the Canadian border, but you can see that the gauge cluster has been changed over to miles. It's not in kilometers, and it's been titled in Washington and all that stuff. So all the import paperwork and all that stuff has been done for you. This was already done when we took it in trade. The previous owner bought it. There's a lot of companies that specialize in importing Canadian vehicles and doing all the changes and stuff and selling them here. And as far as warranty goes, I think the warranty is pretty much expired on this, so I wouldn't worry about that at all. And you might be wondering, well, why is the price $130,000? That seems a lot. Well, that's in Canadian money. I think if you translate the pricing to American, it'd probably be American or U.S. currency. It'd probably be closer to $100,000. But if you take out the inflation calculator, $100,000 is probably close to $120,000, $130,000 in 2022 or 2023. Let me take out the inflation calculator and check and see, how far off we are. Okay, so since this is kind of like a range-topping model of the Grand Cherokee, it's going to come with a lot of standard equipment. It does have a few optional odds and ends. It has a trailer tow group. It has a signature leather wood interior package. That was like a $7,000 option package, at least in Canadian money. Not cheap by any means, even if you adjust it for U.S. currency. So you get this beautiful Laguna leather interior, very high-quality leather. Seems more like the leather you'd find in a Mercedes versus a Jeep product. SRT high performance audio package, that was $2,000 Canadian. So you get a 19 speaker Harman Kardon audio system of an 825 watt amplifier, red seat belts, command view dual pane panoramic sunroof, very nice. We have the RS, well, we have upgraded tires, but we actually put new tires on it, so this does not have the original tires. 20-inch semi-gloss black aluminum wheels. All right, and now of course we can provide you a copy of this window sticker if you want to peruse it yourself. We'll do a quick little walk around of this Grand Cherokee, and then more importantly, we'll take it for a spin around the block and see how this thing accelerates. We have some nice dry roads. So the beautiful leather interior. You have a drive mode selector here, track, sport, auto, snow, and tow. It looks like there's some custom settings. Then you have a launch mode, which is pretty cool. Navigation system or a parking camera. We have heated and cooled front seats, or heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel. Nice leather up steering wheel, feels wonderful in your hands. You have the Trackhawk logo right there. Paddle shifters, we have 47,679 miles at the time of making this video. Actually pretty reasonable miles for 2018. Most people average about 10, 12, 15,000 miles a year. It's almost November of 2023. Memory seats, really nice carbon fiber trim. Beautiful color combination. You can see we have the Hellcat logo there. They could have done a little bit better job cleaning the brakes, but we have these Brembo brakes for amazing stopping power. You need brakes and suspension to match the amazing horsepower and performance this vehicle provides. So you need brakes and a suspension that can handle 170, 180 mile an hour top speed, even though you're probably not going to go that fast. Hopefully not. And we put brand new tires on it, so it's got 4 new tires. So this thing's ready to go. You have a little bit more of aggressive front fascia on the Trackhawk, just hinting at its performance. The giveaway for being the Trackhawk, aside from the Trackhawk logo, is the yellow brake calipers. There's that amazing Hemi engine. Chrysler just loves to shove these Hemi engines in all sorts of products. We had a Jeep Wrangler of the Hemi, the SRT Wrangler. That thing was hilarious, and that was only 470 horsepower. This is supercharged, so it's 707 horsepower. Can't wait to get behind the wheel and feel how the thing accelerates. We have a complimentary delivery to Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. We can put this in our car hauler, we can tow it to you. So over our mobile delivery service, this Trackhawk Grand Cherokee can be all yours without leaving your neighborhood or your driveway. Looks like we have heated outbound seats, and we have a 110 conventional outlet. Nice quad tip exhaust. I love that V8 gurgle. Of course, a power rear liftgate. Yeah, you know, for a 700 horsepower high performance vehicle, it's very practical. It can fold down the seats for those big Costco trips or Home Depot. A very practical high performance car, or SUV, I should say. All right, let's get behind the wheel and take it for a spin. All right, we're behind the wheel of this Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. So I have a drive mode selector here. I'm going to put it in sport mode. I don't want to put it in track mode because I think that disables the traction control and stability control, which with 707 horsepower, I'm not going to mess with shutting those systems off until I get more familiar with a vehicle. I don't recommend anyone just getting behind the wheel of a vehicle they've never driven before with 700 horsepower, then disabling the traction and stability control system. Even in the dry, that could get you in trouble. All right. So really nice ride, goes over bumps really nicely. It's not jarring my kidneys. You know, just going in the parking lot. It's very docile and easy to drive and maneuver in the parking lot. It's very easy to modulate the throttle. You don't feel like, you know, this thing's gonna take right off just giving it a teeny amount of throttle. Not very touchy. But we'll see how this, how it changes personalities when I get a little bit more foot into the accelerator. I'm not going to do anything stupid, you know, I do represent our company, so I'm just going to see how it accelerates up to the speed limit. All right, here are some speed bumps. Let's see how this thing feels over some speed bumps. Not too bad, not too bad. You know, obviously it's a stiffer suspension, and I don't know, depending on the drive mode, if it changes the suspension settings at all. But in the sport mode, it feels pretty good. Roll down the windows too, so you can hear some of that supercharged V8 music through that quad tip exhaust system. Beautiful October day. We're almost into November, but look at it. It's a little bit crisp in the air, but beautiful blue skies. We're having a very nice fall. Lovely day to drive a vehicle like this. You know, actually last weekend I was in the Oregon coast, and this would be a great vehicle for the Oregon coast. You know, especially this time of year where there's a mixture of, you know, dry and wet pavement. But there are some amazing curvy roads, sparse amounts of traffic. This would be a fantastic vehicle for a road trip down the Oregon coast. And unlike, you know, a little 2-seat sports car, it's practical. You can fit, you know, luggage and your family in here for a little weekend or 1-week getaway like us. And you can have some fun driving at the same time. Unlike me and my 12-passenger van. I do like the way my 12-passenger van drives, but it's not a Trackhawk Grand Cherokee by any means. So kind of just putting around town, you know, 25, 30 miles an hour. Really easy vehicle to drive, very docile as I mentioned. This is a great daily driver. I'd say a far better daily driver than the Challenger or even the Charger. Especially around here, as I mentioned, with the all-wheel drive, which you can't get in the Charger or Challenger with the Hellcat engine. This thing's a great all-weather high-performance vehicle. I bet it will accelerate still fairly awesome, even when the roads are wet. Oh, haha. You can hear a little bit of whine of that supercharger. We got a green light. And let's see what this guy's doing. One of our competitors at Larson. All right. Very nice. Gonna roll up the windows. A little bit of wind buffeting. But yeah, this thing absolutely took off. I'm gonna slow down a little bit and just test out the roll-on acceleration. So slow it down to about like, there's no one behind me. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit and just hammer the throttle. Oh yeah, this thing just takes right off. And then when you have it in sport mode, you can tell that it'll hold the gears a little bit longer before shifting into a higher gear, which is better for high performance driving. But yeah, this thing is an absolute monster. And it makes a really cool sound when it changes gears. All right, I better take this thing back to the dealership before I get myself in trouble. A vehicle like this sometimes has a tendency to bring out the worst in you, or maybe from your perspective, maybe the best in you. Well, thanks so much for joining me in this little drive in this Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. Unfortunately, it was a short one. I'd like to take this out for a longer drive. I'd like to take this thing out for a weekend, but not gonna happen. But maybe you could be the next owner of this vehicle or a similar vehicle, and I think you'll be very, very happy with it. Nice, docile around town vehicle for commuting and driving and stuff like that. But as you can see, when you dip into that throttle, it very quickly changes personalities. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day.